Hi friends, Amanda here with you today, and I'm going to be doing a review on this book in front of you that you see called All Things Bright and Beautiful, Coloring the Christian Hymn. This book was provided to me by the publishers, Get Creative 6. I have done a couple of reviews for them, and I am very happy to share this book with you today. All Things Bright and Beautiful is a hymn. I don't know if you've heard it. I sadly have not heard that hymn. I've been raised in the church and raised singing hymnals, and this song did not sound familiar to me. I do not know why, but I played it and I played it again and played it again, and it just did not sound familiar. So I am being introduced to this song today as I was doing research and just learning about this hymnal. So it's out there on the internet. I'll put a link in the description box and let you guys hear this song if you have not heard it. I am one that knows many hymns. Like I said, I've raised in the church, but I have not heard this song. But it is new to me, and I am sharing it with you today. So comment below and let me know if you have heard this hymn, because like I said, I have not. Sadly, I have not heard this hymn, but let's just get talking about this book. So we are going to jump right in and tell you all about it. So the words to this hymnal are by Cecil Francis Alexander, and the illustrator is Margaret Kimball. And it is in the beginning of the book. It's going to tell you about the hymnal, and you're going to have all of these coloring pages. And I do like the beginning, how it shares this here at the very front of the book. It actually gives you the printed pages of the hymnal and the music, all things, and gives you the words. Now, as you progress in the book, each page, it gives you just a line of the actual hymn. And you get to color it. Each coloring page represents what the line tells you from the hymnal. All creatures, great and small, has small creatures and large creatures. All things wise and wonderful. I like how they coordinate with the words that it's actually what you're coloring. This one I like a lot. Now I will tell you, this has a lot of detail. Now when I color, sometimes I like a little less of what I have to color, just as far as what I need to be working on, because when I like to color, it kind of helps me unwind. So as far as coloring, this is a little bit too much detail for me to coloring, but some people may like that. That's just my style and what I like to color with. So I'm just flipping through the book and showing you. Obviously it's a soft cover book, and you can see that. Now I did have my daughter, because my daughter helps me a lot with coloring, and she is my artist. She is my true, has the blood in her of an artist, and I had her color a page that I just thought would be great and could really represent and show you some of the tools that we have that we used. So what we did is I had her do some watercolor pencils down here. These are all the trees down here are used with watercolor pencils, and they looked great. Her shading and everything is perfect. That's why I wanted her to do it. So Elena, thank you. Shout out to you. Love you. Mwah. So this is what she did here. Great. And the background here of the hills are watercolor pencils, and she did some shading with that. The sky, the clouds, and the sun are chameleon pens. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but she likes to use those with a lot of shading as well. And I used down here, this is what I did. I used just a regular gel pen. This is a sparkle glitter gel pen to show you just a variety of things. So now I'm going to turn the page over and show you bleed through. So you can see here is where the watercolor would have been, watercolor pencils, and then here is the chameleon pens. And then down here you can see just a little bit of shadowing of the gel pen. And then over here is some bleed through as well from where the page laid. Now obviously you can keep from bleeding through onto a third page. You could put a page protector down. So that is what I will say I did not really like about this book. The pages they're kind of cardstock pages obviously, but they are not very thick. And the Chameleon pens, if you're not familiar with Chameleon pens, are kind of like a Sharpie pen. So that consistency, that ink consistency. So it bled through very, very, very heavy onto the other side of the page and the opposite page as well. So I would say that if you are going to really spend your money in coloring this book, I would not recommend using a Sharpie, would not recommend using any kind of heavy ink-based products. Stick with watercolored pencils, colored pencils, or even gel pen for products on these pages. You can see some ghosting for this, but it's not so bad. So that's my recommendation to using in this book. Maybe, you know, the pages could have been a little bit thicker for this, but I still think it's a good value, and I would highly recommend it. So I think for what they show here on the cover of the book, to get that true shading effect, you would probably have to use either, like, you know, watercolors or watercolored pencils, that kind of thing. Chameleon pens, you really wouldn't be able to use that in this book unless you didn't mind the bleed through on the other page. So I really like this book. I like that it is just the verses and the chorus of the hymnal throughout the book, and I look forward that they would do some more of some Christian hymnals, and maybe Amazing Grace, Be Thou My Vision, some other great hymns like that, where they could have some coloring books as well. So thank you very, very much for sending me this book and allowing me to do a review on this, and I hope you guys like this. I'll have the link and the description box, and you guys can check it out, and I hope you like this review. Thank you guys so much.